Today on The Rebel Rebel, you're going to meet Anastasia and Tomer, founders of Generation Nomads. They left corporate life to build a freedom-based business while traveling the world, and now they help others do the same. From Portugal's beaches to launching dreams, this is their story. This episode is brought to you by my book, Brand Jitsu. Move your brand from meh to memorable. Brand Jitsu is the battle-tested method I've been using for nearly 20 years to help artists, entrepreneurs, and businesses find, shape, and share their stories so everyone gets it. And where do you get a copy of this amazing book? Glad you asked. Head over to brandjitsu.com to order a signed copy, or get it at Indigo, Chapters, Kohl's, Barnes & Noble, or head down to your local independent bookstore and ask them to bring it in. Welcome to The Rebel Rebel. I'm your host, Michael Dargie, and all the way across the world, like literally across the world, please welcome to the show, Anastasia and Tomer Arwas. How the heck are you?
We're so excited to be here, Michael. Thanks for having us.
Oh, my pleasure. So if you could, let's start here. Where are you in the world?
We are in Portugal right now, in a small surf town called Ericeira. A little place, not a lot of people heard of it, but it's a great little town with it's all about surf here, but you have all the little cute cafes and a lot of stuff, and it's not too far away from the capital, Lisbon, so it's really a great location for us now.
One thing that we learned about being in Ericeira specifically is we got introduced to microclimates. I don't know if you've experienced them before, but it basically means 20 to 20 minutes outside of Ericeira, the climate is entirely different, and it can really jump in degrees, and it can be beautifully sunny just half an hour out of here, and here it's cloudy and a big forecast, and so it's been quite interesting.
Wow. So what took you there? I mean, I know that your website is generationnomads.com. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I nail that?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
Clearly you're nomadic travelers. You're working from wherever you find yourself. Obviously you're surfers. Catch me up on why, what are you doing?
What are we actually doing? Yeah, so I think our journey started in 2018. We were having our cushy, beautiful corporate jobs. We actually met during our business studies. We did a business and MBA degree, and we always knew, okay, we wanted to do something for ourselves, but as life happens and after graduation, we were going for that great job, everything how it's supposed to be, how our parents told us that the world works. And after some time, we realized, okay, it's not really us. And fast forward, I'm sure we will dive into the details in just a little bit. Where we find ourselves today is we left our corporate careers just to travel full time. During that time, we wanted to dedicate ourselves to just exploring what we wanted to do, who we actually are, what our passions are, and how we see our career and life unfold. And on that journey, we started the travel blog. The travel blog went from one thing into another. Today, we have a coaching business and all of that remotely because we decided for ourselves that this is kind of the lifestyle that we want to live, to be able to work and live anywhere in the world. And for us, we love sunshine. We love the beach. So we met in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, which is totally opposite from sunshine and beach.
Yeah.
So we knew we wanted to go.
Still very nice, but the weather there is iffy. It rains most of the time.
Yeah.
So we were thinking of beautiful home base after we did a lot of traveling, fast-paced travel. We were craving some home base, and we found it for now here in this beautiful surf town in Portugal.
Wow. I love that. Okay. So one of the things that I guess it inspires me about this story is that, in today's day and age, there's a lot of us who can actually work remotely wherever you decide to be. You can make something happen. And I'm curious, how long are you going to be in Portugal? Do you bounce around quite a bit? Is this your forever like, what does this look like for you long term, or what's next on the
Yeah.
map?
Yeah, so for now, this is like, we call this like our home base for now. And yeah, we have plans to move around, like, but a bit, we're doing more slow madding now. So we also have our little nomad that joined the picture 2 years ago almost. She'll be two in just a month from now. And yeah, for that, it also means for us that it's really handy if we're having a bit more of a routine for her, and also that she has her daycare as well.
Yeah.
But we do have plans, for example, well, soon we'll be traveling to visit some family around Europe, but towards the end of the year or early next year, we're planning a trip to Southeast Asia for a while. We're planning it now. We're not sure exactly for how long, but basically to base ourselves like somewhere in, we're thinking of Thailand. That's what's coming up to mind now.
Oh, nice.
And it requires another set of logistics now with the little one, because we're like thinking, okay, we've heard of like the options and possibilities there for the daycare or childcare or babysitting, something like this, so that we can keep working while our daughter is with us, of course.
Yeah.
So that's another dynamic that we're exploring right now.
So I think to answer your question, Ben, Portugal is for now home, but we don't know how long. We actually don't really think that much in 5-year plan or or longer than that. We think for now it feels good, and as long as it feels good, we're here, and then we will see where the journey takes us.
Oh, amazing. That's so great. So tell me about your coaching business. Like, what do you do for people, and who's your ideal customer? Like, do you teach people just how to be nomads?
Yeah, so we're going a little bit beyond that. Actually, it's picking up also on a career of my past life, as I like to call it as well. So I used to work a lot with tech startups, actually in tech incubators, tech accelerators, a lot in health tech innovation. So it was all about bringing ideas to market. And I always knew I want to bring our own idea to market at some point. And it was a very beautiful blend between that experience or that expertise with our personal passion of travel. So what we do today is our ideal clients are typically service providers, coaches, creatives, like it can be designers, it can be yoga teachers. So service providers, and typically they have either a personal transformation that they have lived through themselves, and they are very passionate in sharing that with others to help them actually achieve similar results as they have achieved, or they have a certain skill and they're offering it to their clients. So we're working mostly with solopreneurs, lifestyle entrepreneurs, and we help them in launching their ideas to market. So that involves first of all, rediscovering their value, really owning it, communicating it effectively with their target audience, and really help them step by step to get their first clients.
Love it. Wow. So how would, can you give me like a snapshot of what that process looks like to figure out what somebody's actual value is or values are? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. So basically it arrives from our belief that we think you don't have to be stuck in a career that you don't enjoy, maybe even that it drains you don't feel like going to work today, yesterday, maybe even for a long time. And we believe that that's not the only version of success, to be stuck in this path, but actually you can use the skills that you currently already have, but really identifying, okay, what is that unique value that you can share with others so that you can make a difference while creating a profitable business that allows you to travel, but most importantly, be your authentic self and do something that you actually enjoy. And that's from your question of what is the process that we're taking somebody through, that's where it starts. Because
Nice.
we believe in order to build a business where you actually want to work in, you need to really understand who you are and what it means to enjoy. the work that you want to do. So we're really starting by diving into, okay, who are you actually? What drives you? What do you enjoy doing? What doesn't feel good? So we're actually starting really diving deep. We're calling that the freedompreneur journaling practice. So that's where it really starts, trying to uncover your unique superpowers and passions. And from that point onwards, because what we see a lot is our clients, they come to us and they say, oh, I'm really passionate about this. It's often multi-passionate people. I'm passionate about this, but I'm also passionate about that. So how can I actually start with one thing and I cannot choose? And then we're saying, well, how can we connect the dots? And that's how we're starting out, with really looking into what are all the facets and nuances that make you you, and how can we really leverage that in order to serve a certain type of person. So that's the second step. We're really looking into what is your ideal audience. How can you actually leverage that value to make a difference in people's lives? And then what is that value? So really working on your value proposition and your offer that you want to launch, validating that with the target market so that the ideas are not just sounding great to you.
Yeah.
Because especially I've seen it a lot in the tech world when people fall in love blindly with their ideas, and then positioning yourself on the market and going into sales. So that's the process that we're going in end to end, from, okay, I have kind of a vague idea, to now it's actually out in the world, real, and I'm really interacting with potential clients already.
Wow. Damn. That's awesome. I like this. The fact that, and I forget the word that you used. It was like multi-passionate.
Passionate.
Yeah, multi-passionate people, because that's such a hurdle for. And I'm gonna, paint myself with that brush as well, because I think I suffer from multi-passion disorder. Multi-passion disorder. How do you focus on the one thing, or how do you bring all these things together to to serve the purpose, right, behind what you're doing? Fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. And it often takes a bit of an outside perspective. So that's kind of like where we come in, because otherwise, like if you're like in it yourself, you can go around and around in circles and you kind of don't get out of there. But yeah, the moment you kind of share it with someone, which often, they just don't do, they don't feel, I guess, like that there is a safe space with their surrounding or network. So, where they share it with us, and then, we, of course, we guide them through the process as well. But I think just by sharing it and getting a bit of like some targeting and like a bit of nudges from here and there, that's kind of like helping already to clarify and to basically figure out how do you do it with all these different interests and passions.
I think one thing that we also see a lot is it starts often with giving yourself permission and actually, exploring, because even as you were saying it, it's, you're suffering from the multi-passionate disorder almost. It's like, and that's what many people also that see it as like, oh, that's a challenge. Like, how can I pick? That makes my life difficult? Like, if I am so multi-passionate, but actually, we like to reframe that and saying, what if that is actually your biggest strength? Right. What if you're supposed to have all those passions and actually lean in on them and try to explore them and see where they take you, and allow the possibility that what if you can come up with something that is the perfect combination of all those things that make you you, and where you don't have to limit yourself or sacrifice one thing when it doesn't feel good. So it's a lot of as well mindset work that we're doing. So, and I love personally the blend of strategy as well as building that confidence and building that success mindset, and especially also the success mindset in being you without having to change. Right? That's often people think, okay, once I am successful, I will be this and that person. If I'm now a natural introvert, for example, but you have that vision of, okay, once you are successful, I will be that natural networker, and I will love to go to all the social events, and I will talk to everybody in the room, and because that's the picture that you have of a successful person. I'm just making an example, but it's to realize, well, actually, it's still, at the end of the day, it's you with your personality, with your characteristics, and experiences and growth further. But still, it's being you, and I think part of that is again still being multi-passionate, right? So that's where it's not wanting to change yourself, but actually see how can you leverage the things that make you you.
I love it. That's so great. What is what do you and answer individually unless you guys are conjoined, but like what do you do just for you? What fills your personal bucket? And maybe we have different things.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I love you. Still need time to think.
That's the nice thing about being interviewed. The two of us, it's like
I think speaking about the topic of introvert extrovert, I think for me, just being a natural introvert, actually, I love myself having some quiet time and just processing my thoughts. So how do I do that? I love being outside in nature. That's why I think we were drawn into living here in Ericeira by the oceans, beautiful cliffs. So I think my favorite thing to do is just taking a notebook, taking my journal, sitting down at the beach on a nice blanket, listening to the waves, maybe listening to some music and just letting my ideas flow. I love writing. So that gives me a lot of time also to process my own ideas, to think creatively. I think I'm quite a creative person. I need this creativity. I need to create. I love photography. So that's, I think, also another thing that fills my cup a lot. The visual expression as well as expression in words. Yeah, I think, Tomer, I'm curious what you will say. I think water is also your element in sports.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, yeah, with regards to the environment here, I love the flexibility that we've created for ourselves. So that's for sure something that's always been super important for me, to not like have this rigid 9 to 5 scheme like we had in our corporate careers before. Like you have to come to the office at 9, sit there for 8 hours, at 5 o'clock, or sometimes it was even later than that, of course. But at some point you go home and you're done, and then like this kind of split. I like very often we go and we work from a cafe and we take a break. We play tennis for a while, or we go for a walk by the sea, or like there's like I like this kind of mix, which is something that we have created for ourselves. That definitely like helps me as well to go through the workday and to just keep my energy level. Like I need this for my energy level. And I think from the contents of our work, which is what actually came to my mind, was like working with people on their ideas and helping them to craft those and to really create a business and create an offering. Actually, that's the first step. So to create the offering, I think that process is just like, I love this, like being busy with that, and like all these different ideas and learning about them and seeing how different things like come up to actually like to package them and how you could present them, and then to see them actually being also demanded, and that clients are coming, and like this whole process is just like the beginning process of the business. It's like getting me like so excited and so that fills up my cup, to use those words.
Oh, that's amazing. So are you an extrovert, Tomer, or are you introvert? Or are you an omnivert?
I think I'm kind of like maybe I am an omnivert. So well, we often discuss it. Like I do draw a lot of energy from others around me. Like I don't like too much to be by myself and alone. I always like to have people around, and whenever I'm alone, I bother her very often. Like even if I'm alone, so I'm calling her up, like and just telling her, "Hey, I just saw this, and I ran into this person. I need to share it." Like I need to kind of all the time have. So I think in that sense, I'm also like so I'm more extrovert, but at the same time, I think like that when we look at when we enter a room, like if I enter a room full of strangers, I'm also not the guy that automatically goes to everybody and introduces themselves and start conversations. Like I take also a bit slower to kind of to open up to people. So, but I'm not sure if that could look more like an introvert, but at the same time, I think the extrovert introvert is more where you get the energy from. So in that sense, I am an extrovert, but yeah, in this composition.
Let's see, and it works well. I mean, I think it's the contrast and the difference tends to, create more, I don't know, opportunities to grow together. I think,
Absolutely. I think that's something that. Oh, excuse me.
No, keep going.
Yeah. No, it's just to come back to that last point. I think the opposite, or the complementary value, I think, of both of us is something that we have also come to discover throughout this journey, because spending so much time together, and that's actually another thing, we're spending so much time together, being partners in life, being co-parents, being business partners, being real estate partners, like all kinds of partnerships that you can have. Probably we have that partnership. So spending so much time together in learning how the other one works. And I think that's been also for us a process, like even during travels, like our different travel styles or preferences. It's been also a journey of discovering and kind of figuring out, okay, what's the way that works for us, and how can we leverage and allow ourselves to be us, to be me, and him being individually him, and still work nicely together. So I think that question was very interesting to make us reflect on that again as well.
So cool. What? So you're down at the beach. Just let me go. The waves are crashing. You both have your own towels set up. You're or maybe you're out surfing. I don't know what it is that you're doing, but you're sitting there thinking to yourself in this beautiful environment, I just wish the world knew this one thing. And what is the one thing, Anastasia, and the one thing, Tomer, so two things, that you wish the world knew?
I love this question. I wish that the world knew that exactly the way you are right now, you have massive value to share. And the only thing that stands in your way is your own self-doubt. If you have a dream or desire to start something, to start a passion project, to start your creative business, to do whatever it is that you feel like, I want more than what I currently have, but you keep telling yourself, I'm not experienced enough, I'm not good enough, I'm whatever not enough. Just know that it's your own inner voice telling you that, and there is no objective reason as to why you're not able to have the thing that you want to have. So that's what I wish more people knew, that it's actually them in exactly the way they are, that they can already have massive value to share and actually can build a business around that. And it's more about narrowing down what exactly that means. But that's the second step. It first takes the self-belief.
Love it. Tomer?
Yeah. For me, it's among the same lines, and maybe that's because we spend so much time together. But my first thought when you asked is that I wish the world knew that no matter whether you want it or not, like throughout time, you change and things happen to you. So basically, like you should actually live intentionally and design your life in the best way possible for yourself. And you might have fears around it, and might, like Anastasia was mentioning, there's self-doubt. There's a lot of things that can stand in your way, but just trust yourself that when you want something, just go for it, because whether you want it or not, like throughout time, things like stuff is going to happen to you, and you're not going to stay in the same comfort zone, the same safe space that you are now. You're going to move somewhere else. So you better just decide that and be intentional about where you want to go, because that's something that I think like we have also fallen into for a little while in our corporate careers, like you kind of feel like you're in a safe space and you're in your like, yeah, it's all great, and you have this good salary and everything. But and you're yeah, but whether you want it or not, like throughout time, things are going to change. Like all kinds of stuff is going to happen, and you might go like I don't know. It's like you're driving forward. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Like you're in this train and it keeps going, whether you want it or not. So you better decide the direction instead of just like autopilot, let it go and take you wherever it goes.
Love it. What is how do you manage disagreements when between the two of you when you're living together, working together, building businesses together, doing all the things together? How do you manage that world?
Well, luckily we have 2 floors in the house, enough rooms to
Uh-huh.
I'm joking.
I'm actually surprised because very often we get like these questions about like how can you be like so much together, even when we like the first time when we went traveling together, and that was before COVID when everybody kind of had to stick together like as at home or whatever, be locked down. Like even before that, like people were always asking like how do you manage to spend so much time together? I could never imagine myself with my boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. But I don't know. It seems like it's going pretty well. Like so, that's actually like what. Of course we have disagreements and arguments, but I don't know. We usually just kind of get over it. I think we don't get like too hung on to things. We move forward maybe rather quickly, which kind of helps to. We had this argument in the morning about something to do with the business, and then like later on in the afternoon, our daughter is here, and then we're a family, and we just kind of move on and like leave it behind.
I think Tomer is a natural person that wants to talk it out, so he's definitely the communicator, and well, I'm more like in the moment, and then once the moment is done, I'm like, okay, let's move on from here. I don't want to even like discuss it. For me, it's done. But I think what has really helped, or it helps us, and I think maybe we naturally do this, is also just awareness. I think in maybe after so much time, also understanding how the other ticks, and I think discuss a lot of things. We self-reflect a lot, so it's part of our business. I think that's just an analogy. I think we have this weekly retrospective where we're looking into, okay, what went well, what did we meet our goals, how can we improve, etc. And I think maybe from this practice, it's something that we naturally just do on a daily basis, also in terms of interpersonal communication. I was like, okay, so we did this, what do you think about that? And it's interesting to think about it, not something that we have actually naturally like.
It is for sure differently though than working in a corporate environment, or not just corporate, but like in a company, where it's like colleagues, so we're colleagues, but at the same time we're also not colleagues. So like our conversations when we have an argument, it's not like an argument that you would have with your colleague where you would be very polite. I mean, I don't want to say Raquel goes out of the out the window, but because sometimes sometimes we're like okay, let's be a little professional, like so to speak, so that we are resolving the problem rather than getting heated up against because it's not very often. I mean, if it's like something to do with the business, it's not about us, it's about the issue that is maybe causing us some confusion or stress or something that we don't know how to decide and things like this. So it's not about us. It's very much like, okay, so turn the attention away from each other and focus on how we can work on this together.
Love it. What's your favorite food in all your travels?
Ooh, that's a difficult one because we're natural foodies, and I think besides traveling, probably eating is our second biggest hobby. And
I think that's part of
combined,
the reason why we travel.
exactly. People travel to see the stunning nature. Well, we love it too, but we also travel to just eat and enjoy delicious food and discover new cuisines. And I think we love Asian food. So I think if we're now having to plan a date night out, we would probably look up a ramen place to have some Japanese ramen. We love Thai food,
I think
sushi.
what like during our travels, like, so if I think about everywhere we've been, I think the most I would say surprising kitchen was the Indian kitchen, which I guess a lot of people like, because you have Indian restaurants like here in Europe, at least all over the place. But I think the menus are usually quite similar. But when you travel through India and you go from south to north in the middle, it's just so diverse and there's so much flavors that you've never even known existed. Like, I don't know, when we were traveling there and eating around there, I think that was the most cuisine that like we were like, whoa, like this is just like, we never ate this back at home.
I think also if you see us traveling and we want to grab lunch or we want to go for dinner, you will find us in the most local place. We will be, the ones in Thailand sitting on those little red plastic chairs, where only locals eat, and they will serve you a plate of just red chilies, and that's just a story that happened of where your head is fuming and you're about to faint from the spiciness, but we're in it and we're eating that dish. So whenever we are traveling, we love the local experience. We love getting to know the traditions, getting to know the people, getting to know the food. And I think that's also the beauty of traveling. It's actually discovering. It's not finding the same thing that you have at home, just in another place, but actually broadening your own horizon and learning and growing with your new surrounding.
What's your number one tip for fitting into a new culture?
I think it's being open-minded. I think that's the most important thing. So kind of like leave all your, I guess, prejudice or like your ideas behind and just be open to see how others are living and doing things. And I think just really be open for it and curious to learn and to discover. And when we meet people, we always like ask a lot of questions, like, and really try to to like out of like in a curious way to really like learn, okay, like how is all that going, like so I think that's what I think
say. Both of us just having, even from childhood onwards, being used to being in a new environment. My parents, they emigrated from Kazakhstan to Germany, and I grew up in Germany. Tomer's family, they also moved to the Netherlands, and he was in international school, so always surrounded by other nationalities and cultures. I think one thing that for me, I like to use it as a reminder constantly, and especially when you're in places where the culture is just so different to mine, is that essentially at the core of it, we're all the same with the same human desires, right? We all crave love, we all crave belonging. At the end of the day, we all have humor and we laugh and we smile and we joke, and it's kind of
those universal
peeling off actually the layers that make us different until you get to kind of the bottom of how we're all united and how we're all the same. And I think that's where you get through really conversation and as Tomer said, approaching it with a curious mind and with a genuine desire to get to know the person in their core.
I love that. What's the most surprising place you've been?
Wow.
Surprising. Well,
I have something jumping up.
Oh, yeah? Which one?
I love Sri Lanka.
That's the same one I had.
Okay.
And we did not rehearse this before.
Wow. Okay. So
Um,
Sri Lanka, nice.
yeah, I think that maybe it was because we did not have too much of an idea of what is expecting us over
And
there.
we didn't really plan to go there. It was actually like we kind of made, when we first went traveling, we kind of made a list of where we want to go. And Sri Lanka was not there, but yeah, it was like in the proximity, and it kind of made sense. And we were like, okay, let's visit Sri Lanka. And then when we arrived there, we were like,
I think that the nature just absolutely blew our minds. The wildlife. We actually rented a tuk-tuk. It's one of those little car three-wheelers.
Yeah.
And we arrived in Sri Lanka, and the first thing he did is do a driver's license for one of those things, because you need an official driver's license.
Okay.
Then we rented it, drove, and we drove around Sri Lanka for 1 month in our three-wheeler. And he was driving the thing, and I was sitting in the back with all of our backpacks, and we did the whole island. And we came into situations where we were passing by wild elephants, and it was one of the most intense and incredible experiences, I think, of our lives to date.
Wow.
The nature was absolutely beautiful. The food was delicious. It was
the people
so
are
diverse.
super nice and open, and we loved also that it was not, I don't know how to say it, like it was not overly touristic, at least like everywhere. There are some places that are a bit more there, but like in general, the island just kind of like very local, and you feel also like that there is this good vibe that you're visiting, and people are happy that you're there. Where in some places that are kind of overpopulated with tourism, it's like it can get a little bit, I think, of a clash sometimes. And I think in Sri Lanka it was definitely like a nice balance as well.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool. How do you deal with language barriers?
Yeah, I think we're very easy going with it. Like whatever. I think what I notice about myself, at least, is very often like if we don't speak the language or something, we still like we wouldn't look at that as a barrier as such, but we just go for it and just like speak whatever we can. Like, so if it's in a total foreign like language to us, then we just like try in English with hand gestures and so forth, and making noises and stuff. Like, so for example, we don't eat pork, so very often it just be like oink oink. We don't eat that. Like, no, like that's just how that's just how you have to do it sometimes. Like, just like be really creative, and I think we're kind of easygoing with that, and not seeing it as so much as a barrier, but just like just go for it and be creative about how to communicate.
Yeah, I think what helps is we feel like we have some communication repertoire. I think wherever we go in the world, most places somebody does speak English, so that helps a lot. But I speak German, we speak Dutch, we speak Spanish. So all the Latin speaking countries, it's somehow you can you get around, and we just try to puzzle together from things that we know. Of course, when you go towards Asian countries, there our Spanish or our German doesn't help us, but
nope.
I think we no, but it has been going well with English and hands and legs, sign language.
Oh, I love it. There's these people in the world. I mean, they're all over. They're everywhere. We call them rebels in waiting, and these are the people that are maybe just about to do something, or they've just started doing something. And I don't know if this is going to translate, but do you know who Wile E. Coyote is? No.
Okay. No, we don't know.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. So there's these people that are just about to do a thing. They've just started doing a thing. What advice would you give to them for how they could maybe they just want to start becoming a digital nomad? I don't know, but what can you share to help?
Yeah, I read just the other day, reread again a book that I really love, and it's by Benjamin Hardy, and it's called Be Your Future Self Now. And over there, he is saying, if you want a better, bigger future, then change the books that you read and the people that you talk to. So I think that immersing yourself, surrounding yourself with people that actually live a similar life that you aspire, or that have achieved it already, is making such a big difference, not only in learning how you find those action steps, but also just tapping into their minds and into their energy. And I think that's why, listening to podcasts like the Rebel podcast, right? Like really, where if you want to be an entrepreneur and you are wondering, okay, how can I make this happen? It's really tap into the minds of those people that are where you want to go. And if you don't have that surrounding in your natural environment, your friends and family, then reach out for mentors, build that community so that you can get the support that you need in order to get where you want to go. I think that's my biggest one.
Do I get to share one as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, for me, it might sound a bit cliche, but it's like that finding happiness is within yourself. And I think like that's very important. Like it's a very important principle for me, because we're very often like we're very ambitious, the both of us, and we're always like chasing the next thing, and like you always kind of like try to get to the next step, and then you kind of look at where you are and you're like, I want to be there, and you're not always appreciating actually where you are right now. And I think that's so important, and it's just about being grateful and appreciative of everything that you do have at this moment. Like, because nothing is granted, nothing is like, you cannot take anything for granted. Like everything that you have right now and that you're experiencing, you have loved ones around you, you're healthy, all those kind of even like basic things, the more you appreciate them, the happier you become. And like, I like to do that a lot through journaling, just, like writing down things that I'm grateful for. And I always start like, even with just those basic things, like I'm thankful that, like that I woke up this morning and my whole family is here and we're all healthy, and, like that the sun is shining, and even like this kind of like very basic. And then I go to a bit like deeper things, like, like that I'm grateful that, that we signed a new client this week, like things that are a bit, or like, things that are a bit more like surrounding our business and like towards my goals. So like, but really being appreciative of everything that you do have, and that is how you find happiness within yourself.
Mm-hmm. I love also a quote by Gabby Bernstein, in manifestation and personal development, and she is saying, in order, some people, they wait until they're happy once they get a certain result. So once I have this result, then I will be happy, right? Once I reach that goal, I will be happy. But actually, you need to be happy in order to reach that goal, in order to reach that result, like using gratitude as your currency, and actually creating and thinking from a place of, I have already so much, how else can I go to that next step? Rather than looking at, oh, what is now keeping me from my goal is this huge gap and I don't know how to fill it, and thinking of all the obstacles and challenges that are in your way that actually leave you unmotivated. So when you feel like, oh, I've done already this, what else is possible for me? That's when you start thinking creatively and allow yourself to see more possibilities as well.
Oh, I love
that's right, because focusing on scarcity leads to more scarcity, I think, as well. So it's really focusing on everything that you have will lead to more abundance of everything that you already have.
I love that. Where can people learn more about you?
Totally. So we love hanging out on Instagram. Besides our website, of course, generationnomads.com. We would love to get in touch on Instagram. Our handle is Generation Nomads. If you are specifically looking into starting your journey towards a freedom-based lifestyle, and you're thinking, oh, I have this idea, or I have this experience, or this transformation that I have achieved, or I have, this skill that I would love to turn into an online business and actually do something for myself, work from anywhere in the world while doing something that I truly enjoy and that is so aligned with who I am, then we have also a free training that we would love to give you. It's called the Set Yourself Free training, where we're taking you through the steps of actually what we talked about, really getting super confident about the value that you currently have, and then how you can monetize that, how you can launch that into the world. So if you are somebody who wants to take that next step in your journey, then just connect with us on Instagram at Generation Nomads and send us a DM with Rebel. And then we know you came from here and you listened to this podcast, and we know exactly. We would love to connect.
We know that you're a rebel.
Love it. Oh, Anastasia and Tomer, this has been just a wonderful way to spend time. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today.
Thank you so much for having us. We really, really enjoyed this conversation. I think a lot of interesting questions, so I really liked it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We wouldn't have spent the day, we wouldn't have loved to be anywhere else. Thanks so much.
Amazing. Thank you. Hey, it's me again. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you're an artist, entrepreneur, or business owner who believes your brand can be more than it is, head over to brandjitsu.com and join the list to get your copy of my book, Brand Jitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable. I've been your host, Michael Dargie, and this has been the Rebel Podcast. It's a podcast for creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. And hey, if you're a rebel or you know a rebel, why don't you head on over to therebelrebelpodcast.com and fill out our guest request form. Share or subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And thanks so much for listening. Until next time.